All right. Looks good. Looks good. Welcome, everyone on TikTok. Welcome, everybody on Instagram. How are you guys? Hope everyone's doing well. There we go. Please give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you can hear me and see me all right. Before I go ahead and get started, I want to make sure my audio, my video is functioning. All right. Can I get a thumbs up on TikTok? Hi, guys. Good to see you. Can you hear me and see me all right? Also, Instagram, if you could give me a thumbs up, greatly appreciated. All right, looks like, okay, thank you. Thank you. We also have Facebook and YouTube up and running. All right, Chicken Mama, Kim, good to see you guys. Edgar, all right, awesome. And I got some thumbs up here that the audio and video is looking good. We've had some significant weather, I guess, for the area where I live. I'm right on the waterfront. It's not uncommon to have like 70-mile-an-hour winds. So the last couple days, it feels like it's hit that mark. The internet seems fine though. So long story short, if we have any drama, wherever you're tuning in, if you have trouble, please switch over to YouTube at Ask Ivy. That seems to be our best bet consistently. We're going to go ahead and get into some quick promos, letting you guys know what's going on and letting some more people tune in before we go ahead and get started. But today we're doing Get a Grip on Your Intuitive Intelligence. Are you a psychic, a medium, an empath? What do you want to know about your intuitive intelligence? Now, if you want to gift yourself a private reading with me on this, you can go onto my website, Rivera.com, and it's called an Intuitive Ability Assessment, where I run down everything that's going on with you and your intuitive intelligence, how you can use it, things like that. So that's a ton of fun. But today's show is $5 for the short answer, $10 for the long answer. And yeah, we're going to focus on whatever it is that you want to know about your intuitive intelligence. Some people like to call these spiritual gifts. I don't necessarily believe that they're that, but we can roll with that. So go ahead, make your payments, start posting your questions. If you are on TikTok or Instagram, Jill, my beautiful producer, is posting in the comment section repeatedly, because there's no way to put it up in the description box on those two platforms, how you can submit your question. If you are on YouTube, you can pay right on YouTube. You can submit your question right on YouTube. All right, so anything goes. If you want to know about paranormal activity, if you want to know about your spiritual development, if you want to know about specific incidents that you've had and you want to know what category does that fit in? Psychic? Is this mediumship? Is this empathic ability? What is this? Get as specific or general as you want to. We have a couple quick announcements. Jill, what do we have coming up? All right, so for the holidays, I'm running a special at the Ivy League Psychic Academy where you can get 10% off select courses. So this is going to be the Psychic Mediumship course. That's awesome. The Reverendship Ordination, Reiki, levels 1, 2, or Masters, and the Astrology and Tarot courses taught by Christina Del Rey. So check it out. It's not officially up on the website. I'm hoping to get it up there tomorrow. Actually, no, this sale is running. We're going to do December 1st to New Year's. Okay, so keep it in mind, especially if you're looking to gift to someone else. This is huge. All right, let's move on to another one here. If you are interested in becoming a spiritual life coach, you want training on how to go forward doing that and to be able to earn a certification in that. This is going to go through Roots Revival Interfaith, our church. And I'm thinking of offering it later in the winter, maybe in the spring, depending on interest. So if you feel that you want to give spiritual coaching and advice to people, but you don't feel as though you can or want to, maybe you're not ready to do the full psychic mediumship course at this time. Maybe you're not super confident in your abilities to give a reading. Tarot doesn't feel like a fit for you. Reiki is simply not enough. There's not enough actual communication. Energy work just isn't cutting it for you. If you want to do more, but you don't want to go all the way, okay, into readings, this is going to be the right fit for you. So if you are interested in becoming a spiritual life coach through Roots Revival Interfaith, I want you to drop an email and I'll put you on the early bird wait list. So you're going to go to revivrivera@yahoo.com. If you're here on YouTube at Ask Ivy, you can see it up on the screen. Okay, so revivrivera@yahoo.com. And I look forward to working with you guys. I'm excited for this one. This is really important. We also have coming up Christmas on Central. So Small Business Saturday Holiday Market. This is going to be November 25th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. here in Dunkirk, New York. I will be in the Elks building, the Elks Club, which is this fabulous historical building I've been dying to go in for years. So I'm really excited to be set up in there. But we're going to have so many different buildings, including schools, where like we just have so many vendors. I think it's like well over 100 at this point. And the, sleigh rides with the horses for the kids, decorating of the Christmas tree, all kinds of other stuff going on, food vendors, and it's going to be all down Central. Okay, so check it out. You can pre-book your reading with me if you want to do that, or you can take a shot at a walk-in. So this is, again, going to be this Saturday from 11 to 6 p.m. It's called Christmas on Central, so come see me for a reading. What else do we have coming up here? Again, if you guys are tuning in late, this is Get a Grip on Your Intuitive Intelligence. Are you a psychic, a medium, or an empath? $5 gets you the short answer. $10 gets you the long answer. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. And you guys can post whatever your question is about your spiritual gifts, okay, your intuitive intelligence. You can ask and I will tell you, is that psychic? Is that mediumistic? Is that empathic? What exactly do you have going on? But don't forget, once you purchase your reading, you want to submit your question. All right, we have Reverendship ordination and training is now available through video download. So for those of you who wanted to get ordained through Roots Revival Interfaith, we did this November 12th. If you missed it, it's now available on video download. And the training is not just getting you ordained as a reverend minister who can go out and officiate ceremonies, weddings. You can marry, bury, baptize. We are federally recognized, but it is also actual training in how to perform those ceremonies. So for those of you who've gotten a reverendship somewhere else and you've been like, I really don't even know how to use this. This is intimidating. This is going to be the training for you. Okay, so that's now up on the website. What else do we have? Psychic mediumship course is evergreen. I say this all the time like a tick, okay? We are full-time evergreen. So if you've been debating on becoming a certified psychic medium through the Ivy League Psychic Academy, there are 2 different tiers to learning. So check it out, psychicmediumshipcourse.com. You can join anytime, and you can go at your own pace. Okay, and last but not least, if you need a holiday gift idea, gift certificates are now available for purchase. IvyRiveraPsychicMedium.com. And I just want to say in this note, I know that a lot of you have decided you're not buying anything due to the genocide in Palestine for the holidays. I want to explain that I am the type of person to speak out on these types of crimes. I have from the beginning. And any money that comes here to me or the Ivy League or Roots Revival is not going back out toward Israel. And it is not going toward companies who support Israel. And I'll leave it at that. Okay. So if you do decide to spend, I hope you spend it here. All right. With an ally. All right. Let's go ahead and get into your questions on your intuitive intelligence. Jill, who do we have first? All right. So Ayana has a $10 question, and she wants to know, are there any messages from Spirit for me? Okay. So that's not, so Jill, we're doing intuitive intelligence. Okay. So we're not doing like messages. We're not doing psychic mediumship this time. We're not doing on, anything that's going to be like off topic. All right. I can say, so Ayana, I'm going to redirect your question a little bit here. If some of your guides were directing your spiritual development, right, your intuitive intelligence, that would primarily be your joy guide. So your joy guide is watching over not only your spiritual development, but also your mental and emotional well-being. So I feel like one of the things you need to focus on right now is almost like what's right in front of you. There's some talk here of what almost looks like tarot cards or some type of study that you've been doing with objects. This could be anything from runes to crystals to bones. I mean, people use all types of, different objects to give readings. Even like coffee grounds, tea leaves, scrying, okay? Looking into fire, looking into a crystal ball, whatever it is. What Spirit's talking about here is if you have something directly in front of you, you seem to do really well being able to focus on that object or those images and communicate with the sitter, whatever it is that's being channeled through you. Now, I think there's also a big difference that you need to recognize in information being channeled directly through you out to the sitter and you psychically receiving the information, you empathically receiving the guidance. So I feel like you need to get more acquainted with some tools. It will build your confidence level. But you also need to get more educated on where it's coming from, okay? So we like to say here, it's source. Where is the source of the information? If it is coming through your empathic ability, and often it is, you're going to be receiving that through the other person's energy, almost like telepathically, or we would say through clear empathy, like they're talking to you. Their energy is giving you this information. You may have flashes and images about their life or what they're thinking, how they're feeling, without them ever saying a word. And that can really lead and direct you to the areas that they need healing in, okay? And it's channeling that direction on healing that's going to be most important. But then you need to understand when it's coming to you psychically, through your third eye, through clairvoyance, which is the accurate prediction of the past, present, and future, okay? So breaking this down a little bit more for yourself is going to help you to evolve. And your guide is helping you with that. Okay, we're going to move on to another one here from Edgar. This is also a $10 question. Edgar wants to know, next year when I am giving psychic mediumship readings, how will it impact my career as a therapist? Okay, so if you're working in a clinical field, you are looking to sort of come out of the closet, right? And start offering some spiritual guidance to people, let's say. You want to know how it's going to impact your other work. I think that maybe here you're asking about reputation, but I think you're also just asking about like, how will your work change in a therapeutic setting? It often changes there way before you ever become active out in the regular mainstream world. So I would love to see raise of hands if you guys could drop a comment on this if you've experienced this. Who learned that they were already a psychic, an empath, a medium because they were at work? Because of what happened when you were taking care of a patient, right? Or you were teaching your students. We tend to realize that we're picking up on information that can only be described as intuitive, when we're already in that type of an environment where it sort of seemingly doesn't belong. And that's how most people end up diving into this. So I think that you're going to already know, you're sort of answering your own question. You already know how getting more into psychic mediumship is going to affect you at work, because it's the work that led you to psychic mediumship. And for you, Edgar, it's really all in the same. There really is no divide. And that's an okay way to live. That's how I live. There is no in and out. There is no on and off. There is no I'm normal and I'm me and then I'm psychic. It doesn't work that way. You are a collective whole. And you are going to find that you more frequently channel the healing energy, I think, out to your patients, your clients. And it's flowing through you in a more direct, powerful, honest way that they can receive. And it may start to really defy your logic. So maybe there's something you wouldn't have normally said, or maybe there's something you would have said, but in a very, very different way. When you get into psychic mediumship on a regular basis in your life, you end up channeling without your ego, without yourself, without your logical left brain. You are just powerfully giving in a way that the other person can receive. So it becomes very other focused because spirit's handling it. So that's one of the things you're definitely going to notice. Okay, but pay attention to the other things that you've already noticed that led you to this point. So great question. Thank you, Edgar. Want to encourage you guys again to drop your questions about your intuitive intelligence. Anything goes. And $5 gets you the short answer. $10 gets you the long answer. We're going to get to as many of these as we can. But if you want to gift to someone else or buy for yourself an intuitive ability assessment, they are up on my website as well. And I forgot to ask you guys earlier, please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment, hit that subscribe button. Ultimately, I'm always trying to transfer everyone over here to my YouTube channel at Ask Ivy. This is the safety zone for me. All right. And if you want to hit the join button to learn about the tiers of membership here on YouTube, check that out. All right, let's move on to another one. This is a Manny $10 question. What does Spirit say about my spiritual or psychic abilities? Okay. So, what does Spirit say about your psychic or spiritual abilities? I think the first most important thing for you to understand is that you have a responsibility to develop these as a human being, as a spiritual creature, having a human experience on earth. And I think that sometimes your guides are trying to come in and your ancestors are trying to get at you, and they're all trying to help you to have a different perspective on it so that you're not saying, well, this is something I entertain, or this is something I do on the side, or this is something interesting. And to really understand that it's the bigger part of who you are, and that it's the biggest part of your life calling and your life contract. And so it is an area that you need to see as more a responsibility, or an area you need to hold yourself accountable in, instead of it being in the background. And I think part of the reason they're bringing this up is because the next upcoming year, ballpark 7 months, for you, Manny, is going to be like triggering psychic, mediumistic, empathic ability in all these different areas. Now that can come from a relationship change, travel, work change, environmental change. Okay. It's also coming for you from the collective. So a ton of new people have started to come to me for readings, intuitive ability assessments, the psychic mediumship course, in the last month or so, because the collective energy in the world is triggering their empathic ability. their mediumistic and psychic abilities. And that's how it goes. All right. So when we have something like war, a genocide, okay, toxicity out in the world, even during COVID, we saw a ton of this. Okay. I had huge increases in class attendance. Thank God. But when this happens, if you are highly empathic, levels 3, 4 in particular, you're going to get triggered by the collective energy. And in your case, Manny, you could start to notice it through premonitions, apocalyptic type dreams, prophecy dreams. Anyone else having these? You may also notice it through telepathy. Okay, you start to not necessarily hear what the guy in front of you at the line in the grocery store is thinking, but you can hear the collective energy and what the masses are thinking. Okay. This is something you're going to want to learn to work with. This is level up stuff. I mean, this is next level stuff, Manny. Okay. Big deal. So they're going to be helping you with that. It's like eating an elephant for you, one bite at a time. But don't forget, they said the upcoming 7 months you get a hit, and then it's really a full year. You're going to be increasing in all 3 areas. All right. We have another question coming in here from a Kim. This is a $5. So Kim says, my clairaudience seems to be developing rapidly. Do you know if there are stages of development or levels for each clair? 100%. Absolutely. So one of the first things we talk about, I think it's week 1, it might be week 2 in the Psychic Mediumship course. Go to psychicmediumshipcourse.com. We have a whole day. It's 2 hours plus focused on the clairs, as well as what we call here the PEC method, the psychology of energy communication method, and the levels, the layers. There's always going to be a trade-off. So what you may say to the universe, to your higher mind, is, I want to develop in this area. And if you are really open and ready to develop in that area, for example, for you right now, it's clairaudience. If you're developing clairaudience, you may stop developing in another clair or ability. It doesn't mean it's broken, doesn't mean the old one is gone. You just may not notice it in the way that you used to. The focus is going somewhere else. And often we'll see development in a couple areas simultaneously. But what the universe wants to do is make sure you're mastering those areas, meaning you're not becoming so overwhelmed that you're out of control, or that it's causing you disorders, or that you are delivering haphazardly to your client. You know, it needs to be done right. So often, again, we'll level up in a couple different areas, and then we go back to some other areas. And you may even find that the area that seemed to have tapered off, it may come back, and it may come back with a vengeance. There may be whole new levels you've never reached. We see this most commonly with dreams. If someone really gets into their intuitive intelligence, okay, raise of hands here, who's seen this happen? Or spiritual development. If your dreams had been the most powerful point, for example, where you were receiving all of your intuition, they may almost stop, seemingly so, where other areas are developing. Clairaudience is the ability to hear spirits in your head as though it is your own inner voice. If you guys are listening to her question, you don't understand what clairaudience is. It typically comes with a ringing or a tinnitus in the ear, and an anxiety attack. Hopefully you only get one or the other, but you know, a lot of people get both. So yeah, Kim, there are levels, and you will definitely notice the difference with clairaudience. Okay, so we're going to move on to another one here from a Christine Morante Camuta. I would love to know what my strongest abilities are. Okay, and this is a $10 question. All right, so Christine, what are your strongest abilities? The first thing I'm getting is psychic ability, in particular, the ability to know what other people are going to do. So some people would call this discernment. That's a little bit different. This is like judgment. This is straight up accurate judgment on, okay, what is going to happen, or the highest likelihood of what someone else is going to do. You may have noticed this in patterns where, say you have a friend who's in a new relationship and she's like, oh, this is, amazing. And then, you're looking at the relationship psychically and you're picking up on him and you're thinking he can't last beyond 4 weeks before his mask starts to come off and she's going to see this and this and this. So you would see things in not only detail on how they're going to play out, relationships, situations, people, but also timelines. So if this is a strong suit for you, what you're going to want to do is feed it. You want to develop this, okay? You kind of got to pop out of the box this way. This could have also stemmed from something like childhood trauma or a lot of moving or a lot of switching of schools, okay? Or something like that, where you had to hone in on this ability to keep yourself safe. So don't forget, trauma equals intuition. Now, what you're going to want to do with this is use this for criminal investigations, missing persons, finding lost objects. Paranormal work, oddly, is directly connected to this ability. You're going to want to work more also with psychometry, the holding of objects to give information in detail, and remote viewing, which is seeing in your mind's eye someplace you've never been, inside of someone's house, or again, where like a missing person or a body may be found, okay? Being able to read license plates numbers and roads and addresses in your head, in your mind's eye. This can help the police, the private investigators, the families. So this could be very lucrative for you if you channel it properly, but you've got to perfect and polish up your skill, okay? There are a lot of expectations on you in this area professionally. Then the other thing that comes up with you is mediumistic abilities as going through an increase. And this is going to be going on, I want to say, for probably the next 2 months intensely, but it'll go about 1.5 years to a year and like 9 months, maybe, where you're going to notice that spirit is coming to you or communicating through you or popping up at night a lot. This typically activates between 3 and 5:30 in the morning, the haunting hour. So expect your mediumship to increase and start diving into that. Okay, what is that lost language? All right, thank you so much for that question. Excellent. That's a good way to say it. I like the way she said that. What are my strongest abilities right now? So you guys could ask any way you want. Let's see what else we have coming up here. We have one from an Elena, and this is a $10 question. What does Spirit have to say about my mediumship, and is harbinger of death my next calling? I don't know what harbinger is, but I think you typed messenger. If anyone else has an iPhone, that last update is ridiculous with autocorrect right now. It's so bad. I'm like retraining my entire phone. All right, so let's look at Elena's question. What does Spirit have to say about your mediumship and messenger of death? I think is what she meant to type here. Messenger of death syndrome. Is it next? I think it's already here for you. I don't think it's a question of whether or not it's next. I think it's a question as to whether or not you're about to level up in it, which can feel like a level down. I can appreciate that this is a difficult ability to have. When we have messenger of death syndrome, we're able to accurately predict death, world events, tragedy, accidents, disease, okay, all kinds of things. And it's not just for the people you know or for yourself, it's for the whole world. And so you already have it, but it may be getting more in depth in that you're predicting more about world events and you're predicting timelines. You may also start with your messenger of death syndrome, Elena, to be able to predict whether or not something is actually going to happen, even though it seems like it's actually going to happen. You could almost psychically say, I'm positive this thing is going to happen. I have seen it in a vision. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. Why? Because we have two potential futures. We have free will future, and then we have destiny charted future. So most readers out there don't even know the difference between the two. This is why they're always saying things that don't happen. And they really believed it. They don't know what they're doing. You have two different future options. So Elena, what you're going to be doing is focusing a lot on a vision that you have, messenger of death syndrome, and asking the right questions about that situation. Is it actually going to happen? Is it destined? Is it a guarantee? Is it written in the stars? Is it already on a deadline? Or is it in a free will zone? It can be manipulated. Everyone involved can change the circumstances. Timeline can be moved. Is that what's actually going on? And if free will is what's actually going on, you got to dive in. You got to get more info and you have to check it regularly. It's like the weather update. It moves. Okay. So these are going to be really important areas for you to focus and polish up your skill set. In regards to the other part of your question, what does spirit have to say about your mediumship? I think the mediumship is something that comes very natural to you. And luckily for you, this isn't really an area you need to polish up a ton. I would still love to see you at class just so you can fill in the gaps in the lost language, because there are so many. But I think that when you are authentically channeling a message for someone else, Spirit's very proud of you because you're very willing to put your ego aside. Some people like to allow manipulation and control and fear because they don't want to be embarrassed or they don't want to be wrong. They allow that to dictate where the message goes instead of just letting Spirit dictate where the message should go. Okay, so stay humble. I want to say stay low, and just stick with the attitude that you already have of like, I may look crazy. I don't know what's about to come out of my mouth. I'm just here to be of service and do the best I can do. Okay. Stay there for a while longer. All right. We have another one coming through here from a Seraphim, $10. Okay. $10. Okay, so Seraphim wants to know, what abilities should I focus on growing? And does Spirit want me to share them in this lifetime? Yes, you're always supposed to share them in this lifetime. Okay, so this is one of those questions that applies to everyone. There is no such thing as spiritual gifts. Everyone's born with them and it's innate. They're blocked by society, but it's innate. Okay, and there's no such thing as should I become a healer or a light worker in this lifetime? Should I do spiritual work? It is your job to do spiritual work. You are here primarily to do that work. All of us, to different degrees. Yes, we will be out there doing healing work or light work for others. But yes, all of us. And so the idea of you, Seraphim, your question is, should I be sharing it? You should have already been sharing it. I think you have. I think that going forward, what you want to figure out is how you want to be sharing it. And there's nothing wrong with, the other day I was thinking, what kind of food? I could tell winter's here, okay, because I'm bored and I'm gaining weight and all I do is think about food. It's so annoying in New York. But, I was thinking, what kind of food is my favorite food? And I thought, I love going to a barbecue. I love someone's grilling. I love going to almost like a buffet, type setting. I love this because I could put a smattering of a million different things on my plate and none of it is ever wrong. It's always perfect. Okay. And I think that's sort of where you are right now. I think the symbology of all of this is that you want to be feeding your soul with so many different foods at this time. Okay. Feeding your mind, feeding your imagination even. And what's automatically going to happen is that you're going out into the world, and as you are saying to the universe, I am willing to be of service in whatever way you call me to. All right, well, then your ministry starts to grow. People can now come to you if they can find you. So be on social media, okay? Have a business card, whatever. But you need to then allow for all different kinds of healing, messaging, inspiration to come out of you, kind of like that plate of food. Okay. What went in now has to come back out. And it looks like for a while, it could look a bit manic. I don't know, like you're posting on this and then you have a meme about this and then you're speaking about this on a podcast and then, you're helping someone do a Reiki healing and then you're giving a tarot reading. So what? That's how it needs to be for you for a while. Okay. I also think that it's through that process and being bold and being willing to explore and embrace that process of everything and anything and who knows where I'm going. It's through that you can really start to pinpoint more of what the next step is that you need to be investing in. And, it'll come. Just get out there. But you really are a shining light. Okay, and we have another one coming through here. Lavender Time says that's literally what I always say. Thank you so much. I love that. Texas Girl in Virginia says these are the conversations I have in my head. And Christine says, thank you. Okay, awesome. So let's move on to Texas Girl in Virginia says, $10 question. All right. From Kimberly J. I find myself having conversations with loved ones who have passed. Am I really having these conversations, or is it my imagination? So the first question I get asked by every single student who comes through my door is this: how do I know when it's my imagination versus when is it actually real? It's all the same thing. There is no such thing as your imagination being separate from channeling. Do you see a dead person? Do they write down their message in a tangible way, a concrete way you could prove? Okay. Can you hear them? Can other people hear them? Is that typically what's going on? No, of course not. Of course not. So where's it coming from then? Where the heck did you get that? How are you accurate in channeling a deceased loved one when we can't even prove that they're here? Because it's channeling through your brain. It's channeling through the right side of your brain. What goes on in the right side of your brain? Musical ability, the engineer's mind, right? How systems fit together, artistic talent. That's where writers go, right side of your brain. Automatic writing, mediumship, creativity. All these things are in the right side of your brain. The left logical side of your brain, which is not at all the smarter side, let's say, when the left logical side of your brain kicks in, it starts to pick apart, if you let it, the right side. And it says you're inferior. It says that's not true. It says you're embarrassing yourself, or, it's incorrect. And that's unfortunate. Okay. So why are you doing this to yourself? Because that's a society you were raised up in, from your parents who said monsters weren't a real thing. Okay. And there's no such thing as ghosts, to the school who taught you never ever to talk that way, or they were going to send you to the doctor who was going to say that you had psychotic episodes, magical thinking, or you're stuck on the DSM-5 as a disorder, to the church who says it's demonic, to the government who feeds the church and all these other systems. I mean, I could break this down for a million years. You have been raised up in a toxic environment that stole your confidence in your ability to follow your intuition and to connect with spirit and ultimately yourself. Your imagination is part of who you are. Your imagination is part of how you learn and how you think and how you channel. Okay. It's not two separate worlds. It's both. Okay. Let's move on to another one coming in here from a Julie, $10 question. All right. So Julie wants to know, what do you see around my abilities in psychic healing and channeling, and how do you see these abilities manifesting in the near future? Okay, so psychic healing and channeling. Well, my right palm is itching, and so this is money going out. You may need to invest in something like, a book, a training, a little more education on what exactly you want to do with this. Not really what you want to do, but like how to do it well. And this may also not just be about like money, but time, effort, energy that you're putting in. And when we like to say, time is money, well, then take it both ways. Take it however that resonates with you. Okay. We're talking about the future. So this is what's coming up for you. I think that you need to invest more in this idea of, psychic healing as being psychic surgery, or being accuracy in something like remote viewing or missing persons, criminal investigations. Like what exactly, let's narrow down what exactly you want to be doing with it. Okay. I also think that you're really good at giving messages on a whim. So we're not all Long Island Medium because we don't all have a squad of editors behind us. Okay. And So even though it may look successful when she goes up to someone, there's a lot of footage that shows it is not always well received, especially if people don't know who the heck you are. Okay. So be careful, I would say, with unsolicited healing messages. Respect other people's boundaries, but also acknowledge that you're really good at it. You're really good at walking by someone in the store and having a specific message that they need for healing that you got psychically, or being able to read the guy in the truck at the light next to you, who's waiting, or the same thing with family and friends. I think you need to test it out more when spontaneous information comes to you. One of the great ways to do that is to keep a journal and write down exactly what you see happening in the future, when you see it happening, and use it in circumstances where you can test it out. Do it with people you know. Do it deliberately is what I'm saying, okay? To build your confidence in that area. As far as, what do I see manifesting for you in the near future? I think that area is going to manifest really quickly if you use your free will to do so. So you give, you get more. Okay. You tell the universe, I'm ready to show up for this. The universe is going to send you clients and opportunities. I think that you may also see a significant increase in your empathic ability. And your question is about the future, but I think this already happened. So if in the last 6 to 8 months or so, you've noticed that you're becoming hypersensitive to light, noise, other people who are going through health crisis, you're taking it into your body, clairsentience, you're adopting it as though it is your own. You're feeling sick, hypochondria, okay? Phantom illnesses, picking up on other people's emotions too much. You may also have irritable bowel syndrome, migraines, sleep disturbances, headaches. Like I already said migraines, but you could have almost like an overwhelming sense of energy coming in and polluting your body, okay? This is hitting the higher levels of empathic ability and not knowing how to control it. So check out the empathic awareness class up on the website. Learn how to start blocking some of that out. That will dictate where you go next, because you got to get the upper hand on that first. All right, we are going to move on to another one here. Ballsy DeWitt the third says, thank you for confirming that imagination is not separate from channeling. Amen. There we go. All right. Okay, we are at time. Okay, you guys. Just a reminder to be careful with who you're buying from this holiday season. I know a lot of my followers, as well as myself, has decided we're boycotting a ton of companies due to the genocide in Gaza. And many of us, not shopping at all. We're not feeding this problem by feeding into capitalism at this time, knowing where our money is directly going. Now, the thing is, if you are going to buy for the holiday season, or, if you would like to support smaller businesses, because I speak out on the genocide, I've gotten hit hard on all of my platforms and with sales immediately, which is sad to say. Okay. But it's my job, and I'm not going to complain about that. The thing is, I'm also seeing a lot of small businesses come out and say, don't buy big, buy small. Check them out too. What are they actually supporting? Are they speaking out for the right things? Okay. And if you are not doing any kind of holiday spending this year, I hugely support you and am grateful to you in that. All right. But like I said in the beginning of today's show, gift certificates are now on sale up on my website if you would like to support my business. All right, you guys, stay strong. If you want to book your own intuitive ability assessment, or you want to gift it to someone else, Rivera Psychic Medium.com. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Spirit. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.